everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are having some technical difficulties. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Here we are. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the table. This is Katrina Chevalier Cormier. A lot of you know me as Dr. K. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Today is an awesome show. We're going to go over music in the body of Christ. So I'm so glad that you're joining us today. Gospel, rap, I don't care what it is, we talking about it. Today I have with me Rodney J.
How you doing?
Of
Sound My Music Group.
and also D-Bots of
Bots World Productions.
That's right. So we're going to get it popping right now, guys. And we're going to talk about some great things on the show. Music in the body of Christ. Some hot questions that we're going to be discussing. And I'm so glad to have you join. Hello, Lady Nevaeh. How you doing? Everybody come on in. Let's get this talking and we're going to get it going. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For a few people. We're waiting for a few people to come in, guys. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much again for joining us. Again, let me reset. My name is Dr. Katrina Chevalier Cormier. Welcome to the table, where we take the church to the table. Okay, so here we go. Let me go ahead and start by asking my guest, Rodney J. first. What do you do? And tell us a little bit about yourself. Come on and let's let everybody know what you're doing.
I'm a producer, writer, arranger, and a gospel artist, you know, with an R&B feel to it.
Want to kick a little note for us?
Kick a little note?
You want to kick a little note?
Not with them.
Okay. Okay, and what about you? Come on, let's go, D-Bots. What do you do?
I'm a music producer, musician, extraordinaire, songwriter, musicianalist, if that's a word.
Musicianist, okay.
Yeah.
And have you guys worked with gospel artists before? Of course you are a gospel artist, but you work with R&B and gospel. Have you guys worked in both realms?
Yeah.
So tell me about your experience. Let me start with you. What about your experience?
Which realm?
In the gospel realm and whichever one you want to go with.
Well, the gospel
Hello,
realm,
Tessa, how are you doing?
the gospel realm is a lot different in my eyes. I personally like working with the secular, if that's the word we're going to use, artists, because secular artists are a little more humble.
Okay.
What I have experienced, just my experience, not all of y'all, they are very, gospel artists are very high-minded of themselves. They don't come on time, they're lazy, that's just my experience. I ain't saying that's all of y'all, but a lot of y'all are like that.
Okay, so let's talk for a little bit. Let me first ask you, and guys, what you was just hearing, it's a collabo between Joel Osteen, a big pastor. He's an awesome man of God in Houston, Texas, and also Slim Thug, who is also an awesome rapper in Houston, Texas. He did a collabo with Joel Osteen, and this collabo is amazing. You have to hear it. It's called not church, but it's called church. And in Houston, Texas, we have a little slang to our thing, so this is how we do it. So let me turn it back over right here to Rodney J. and just ask you, what it is. Have you worked with? Who have you worked with? And what have you done? Have you worked in both realms? And tell me about what's going on there.
I've worked in both realms. You know, I enjoy both realms. Kind of to piggyback on something Davion was saying, I really think that the gospel arena is very judgmental. You know, I think that
you mean some gospel, or some religious folks?
Yeah, some religious folks are very judgmental, but at the same time, I think the purpose of the gospel is so much greater. The R&B is a lot of fun. You know, it's a lot of outside the box. That's what I like about it. You're not confounded. You know, you're not just in a setting to where you feel like, man, I can't go here, I can't go there. It's just wide open. In gospel, you know, I'm trying to get to a point to where I can create it to where it's a little bit more outside the box. A little bit more friendly for not just church folk. You know, but the whole ordeal.
Well, let me ask y'all this. You guys have worked in both gospel and R&B. Rap, gospel, R&B, whatever you want to call it. Okay? All three areas of music. You tell me, have you, while working in R&B, did you feel some kind of like you was in a box where you couldn't transfer over to working in the gospel area because you felt like that the church or religious folks would judge you? Like, did you feel like, you know what, I want to transfer over, I want to do things, you know, in gospel? I'm talking about early on when you really was out there. Was it like, you know what, I want to do this, but I don't want to feel like once I get over, I can't transfer back and do both gospel and rap because then I'm being judged about the music I'm doing. Because let me also add to this. I want to ask too, I want you to just piggyback on this. Do you also think that what people considered secular, as in secular music, do you think that it's a storyline in those songs? Like people in that time, like you had, I remember Natalie Cole, my mom used to play this when she was like going through a lot. She would play the song I'm Catching Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, and sometimes people, not saying that they don't want to hear gospel music, but they want to connect to something that's connecting to them in that moment.
Right.
So my question is, if you have an artist come to you, before we go there, what artists have you worked with? Go ahead, D-Box. Tell me who you work with.
Ooh.
Who you work with? Because
Man.
we got some good names on here.
Let me see. Maya, Slim Thug, Fantasia, Jagged Edge, LaToya Luckett, Kelly Rowland, UGK, Sean McLemore. Let me do some of the gospel.
Hey, now.
Sean
Some excellent
McLemore,
artists.
Chad Stevenson, Chad Brawley, Daniel Johnson.
Okay.
Man, it's not too many in this, especially in Houston. I haven't worked with.
Okay.
Marcus Manchild, Kirk O'Banks, Corey Moe.
So the list goes just
Yes,
on and on. And
yes.
who have you worked with before? You've actually been in a single group yourself.
Yeah,
So who have you worked with?
I was more on the artist side, so I shared the stage with
The
them.
stage.
You know, but I actually did some work with R. Kelly,
Whoa, he's some
Dave
good artists.
Hoster, back in the
Okay.
day, Jodeci,
Oh,
Drew
I see that.
Hill, Destiny's Child.
Okay.
You know,
Ramona.
a lot of the people that you know, half of these youngsters don't even know.
Okay. And when you guys were around them, were they people that prayed and they had God, you know, relationships with God? And did you see this? Were they like praying, and it seems as though they had some kind of relationship with God, with Jesus Christ? I mean, because when people looking at from the outside, and they, you know, people, they're making this supposed to be secular music. Okay, I'm saying secular because we're gonna dissect this. What have you seen in their space? Like, when you're looking at them, like you're saying, wow, you know, these people really have a relationship with Christ.
I know a lot of people that I used to be backstage with. They always start off with prayer, and a lot of them grew up in the church, but they loved R&B. You know,
Okay.
I think one of the things, just like me, you know, one of the questions you asked a while ago, when I started singing R&B, I was raised in the church, so I don't never think I struggled with, am I supposed to sing in the church? Am I supposed to sing R&B? I actually thought God wanted me to make it in R&B. Until I actually understood who God was, is when I said, this is what I need to be doing.
Right.
So I don't think it was you know, you just got this success mindset. You're not kind of trying to say, well, should I be doing this or should I be doing that?
Right.
I think that happens later on once you start going through the toils of the situation.
Right.
And you start feeling like, man, you know, you get a little more wisdom. Like, is this where God has me? Is this where God wants me?
Okay.
But at the time, you just want to make it. You know, you want to be like the Boys II Men or like that group there.
Right.
You're trying to succeed just like somebody trying to succeed at college.
And then
doing what they do.
you got to think about where you went during that time.
Exactly.
You know, and God gave you a gift as a musician.
Right.
So you're going to exercise that gift. But then when you're around other artists, you know, that are, you know, supposedly just in the secular realm, or what, you know, religious folks or what maybe gospel artists consider as secular, you know, in that realm, you're in contact with these people and you're saying, you know, well, they have relationships. Y'all have relationships with Christ, right? And through that whole time, did y'all have relationships with God? Or?
Right. I was raised in the church. I mean, so I wasn't one of those people when I got older said, well, my mama made me go to church, and now that I'm an adult, I'm not going to go to church. I've always went to church. So that element has always been, you know, in my life. So.
And so back to, did you feel like when working in R&B that you couldn't cross over, that you couldn't do gospel because everybody was judging you, or how did you feel?
Well, I didn't get it. My first couple of hits were all secular. I don't think I had I don't think I've had a gospel hit.
Okay, but you've worked with gospel
Yes,
artists.
I work with them. Yes.
But did you feel like condemned, or?
Not at all.
So why not? I mean, because there are some people that's like, you know what, I'm not working with that artist because
Right.
then my pastor might look at me like this,
Right.
or you know, the church folks may look at me like this. So how are y'all feeling about that?
Well, I had a
How do you feel?
conversation with the pastor I was under at the time, Michael Bowie, and he asked me, he said, well, I know you're producing these rappers. And he's like, is that a good look on the church? And I said, well, I guess. He's like, well, let me ask you this. After they rap about going to kill somebody, do you want to go kill somebody? I say, no. He said, all right, I'm good. After they rap about sleeping with 100 women and all this and slinging drugs, do you want to do it? I said, no. He said, okay, I'm good. Keep doing what you're doing.
And what about the new era, the new music, like the new era of music? You have R&B and you have rap gospel.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that? Like, I remember when it first came out some years ago, I was like in the 90s, and I was like, what is this? Because my mama was like, girl, you better turn that off. I'm going to slap you in your face, get it off. So I was like, wait a minute, mama, you know, this is actually gospel. She was like, well, let me listen to this. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that this would draw this generation, because we are still a part of this generation.
Right.
So do you think it would draw people in, or do you think that it should even be played in the church? Or what do you think?
What you mean, the gospel?
Yeah, gospel rap or R&B rap. I mean, R&B gospel. What do y'all think about that?
I think it should be, because what I'm doing, with what we're doing with Roddy J and
Tanika.
Refresh, is I'm taking what I knew from when I used to sing R&B and when I used to be out there, and I'm just combining it in what God has placed in me. But I don't feel like the atmosphere of it should change. I don't feel like the technique should change. Sometimes I don't even feel like the beat should change.
Okay.
It's certain things that I think if you're gonna reach some young people, you have to first of all be on their level. But second of all, you have to understand that they gravitate in this generation to a whole nother era.
Right.
A lot of what you're hearing in the church, some of these kids ain't never been to church, period.
Right.
So
right.
they don't even know to say that, okay, I don't like this. They ain't heard it.
Right.
So the only thing they are hearing is what's out there. So you're gonna have to go. The Bible says he became all things to men so that he might win some.
Okay.
So sometimes you have to go into that field.
You have to become.
Yeah, you have to
Right.
become what they are. You don't have to be in the world, but
Right.
you have to be of
Able to connect and pull people in.
This
Right.
music nowadays, there's not a lot of substance to it.
Right.
You got a beat, a trap beat, and like Dave Young said, producing has gotten so easy because you got a bass line and a kick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But back when musicians really got together, you had live instruments, and you had a whole bunch of different things like that. It was more substance to the music. So
Okay.
the generation you tapping into now, they're not even looking for that. They ain't even looking for no guitar. They ain't looking for no piano. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you got to bring that era to them, but you got to bring it in a way that they can be like, man, that's dope. And especially by showing them how much they've sampled old school music.
Okay. And let me ask you, of course y'all go to church. Have y'all ever experienced like slack or anything?
Backlash?
Backslash,
Yes,
backlash.
yes,
Have you ever experienced it
I
from the
just
church?
asking what's the backslide.
Well, I know.
We didn't backslide. We
Backslide,
I
yeah.
done moonwalked and all
Backlash.
kinds of
She was
stuff.
saying we
Yeah.
backslide.
No. Have y'all experienced
I
it
slide to
where-
the left,
I know,
right, back.
Well, me too. Okay, but I've backslid too. So, hey. But have y'all ever experienced that in the church where you get the heat from the gospel or from the religious folks? Like, what do you experience in the church from religious people? Being that you work in this realm of music, what do you get? What have you experienced?
Personally, I've never experienced it, and I think just because the way I conduct myself, I don't let the secular music that I produce run my life.
Okay.
And so I'm still faithful to my wife. I'm still a good father. I still strive. I still have Christian characteristics, even though I can sit in a session. There's no smoking in my session. There's no alcohol. That my studio is all that free.
Okay.
So I'm still in my right mind, because I've been in the sessions where is you walk in and you feel like you on cloud 9.
Right.
So, but I've never had, and I keep stressing that most of my clientele, probably 80% of my clientele, is secular,
Okay.
and that's just how I think I work better like that. Like I said at the beginning, I don't chase after gospel artists. I work better with secular artists. They come in, they work, they pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gospel artists, they never on time, they never pay.
Uh-huh.
they think they God's gift to the earth. So
Yeah. But not all of them, right?
not all of them.
Not all
I'm
of them.
only speaking on my experience.
Okay, on
So,
your okay,
yeah.
okay.
Not everybody I've had in the studio is like that. But
Okay.
majority, especially Houston.
Okay.
So let's just put that
And
out
Houston
there.
has some great artists that came.
Yeah,
Okay, for
super
Beyonce.
dope.
I mean, come on. There's some good artists that came out of Houston. But I have to ask also, do you think that some artists don't want to cross over because they get put in a box? It's kind of like, oh my goodness, now I done start having to sing gospel music, so I
Most definitely.
can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. So my life, I can't do it. I'm gonna wait till I get old to go ahead and cross over. Have y'all experienced that?
I think that they also know that a lot of gospel, like I said, people are judgmental.
Right.
And not only that, their creativity is not in line with what they see at the church. So in other words, they're not going to feel accepted because of the way they address a song, the way they write a song, the way they come across. Now, churches ain't playing that anyway, so they don't even see a way to cross over. The way rap sounds now, you haven't heard that in the church. And like I say, churches don't really play a lot of gospel rap, which they should if it's going to bring youngsters to
You
Christ.
think they should?
They don't really
With
play a lot of
today's, with it
gospel
being so
R&B-ish
big?
vibe stuff in the church. They might play some stuff on the radio, but
Yeah.
in the church, they almost like scared to take a risk on that.
Do you think that would get more kids in? Do you think just gospel rap would bring in more of the youthful generation?
It has to be, but it has to have some flavor.
Definitely.
Because if you put, this up against this, you got to be coming with it. They just point back because you're looking at these kids. They're not just looking at so much as the church. They're looking at, okay, if you take a secular artist, if you want to say secular, I think but you can say, hey, I got money, I got fame, I got clout.
Okay.
What am I gonna have if I go to church?
Right.
And so they got a lot to think about. You're going to take away all this money, you're going to take away this fame, what am I going to be left with? So, first of all, they have to have an understanding of Christ to even know why I need to switch. And the other thing is, a lot of these people, like people from New Orleans and some of these folks that's rappers out of that game, they grew up seeing drugs, they grew up, so they don't want to lose that.
Right, so...
they don't want to lose that money, they don't want to lose that power and attention that they got, and they don't never want to go back to that.
But are they also rapping and singing what they went through? Because sometimes people can be actually basically singing or rapping only what they know.
Yeah.
Because, okay, do you think also that maybe some people have never... You have some kids that grew up in households, they haven't been introduced to the Lord, and they only rapping, going back to that rapping or singing what they know. What do y'all think about that?
Well,
and then they eventually come to God, like...
Right.
If you haven't been exposed to it, of course you don't gravitate to it. So if you grew up in a household that your mom and dad didn't make you go to church or whatever, and all you know is secular music, then yes. And then to piggyback off what he said, you gotta compete with the church music, because if I'm listening to, let's just say, Jay-Z or whoever, and the beat is
Thank
not
you for coming, everyone.
And I come to listen to gospel rapper Exhibit A, and the beat is kind of trash, it's like you're not competing with what I'm listening to. I'm getting from the world, and it's kind of catching up now. Like it's kind of catching up with the sound of gospel rap, and so you have, if I'm bobbing my head to this in the club, and I come to church, and it's kind of like, why would I listen to this?
Yeah.
That's why certain artists catch some slack, because they starting to use that sound that's on the radio, because you got to compete.
And so last week we was talking about the church and the club, and somehow we got on how the club seemed to be more inviting, and that's in the secular realm, than the church itself.
Yeah.
So do you think that maybe because of the club and the way it is, people will come in and it's like, okay, they come in, they're not being judged, blah, 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 blah. The music is popping, the atmosphere is right, it's welcoming. So, hey, I want to go ahead and be part of this. You think that it should be the same way in the church?
But it's not.
But on the spiritual level?
Right. You got that one, the mean old ushers when you come in, they sit right here. You go right here. No, don't go. You ain't got no more programs. You ain't got no. And so you automatically like, wow. Well, you know what I mean? So, but when you go to the club, everybody's going for the same thing. We're going to relax. We've been working all week. We want to chill out, have a good time. If you came with that same mindset and were greeted like that at the church, I think you get a better response. But people get turned off before they even sit in the pews.
But see, when I was singing R&B towards gospel, I didn't change anything. As far as lyrics, I did, and as far as but as far as music, I'm still getting a Davion. I'm still gonna get a top producer. I'm not gonna get some trash juice that's just making beats. And I'm just being honest, because I know ain't nobody finna listen to it, because I don't listen to it. And it's not to judge, it's just that I look at myself, and I even when I hear R&B, I'll listen to it and I'll say, you know what, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I can be honest. I don't like what some of these kids are doing, but I could also listen to this gospel song and listen to this, a secular song, and I can say, that secular song jamming. This just ain't jamming, period. Now, lyrical wise, okay, this is talking about Jesus, but you ain't letting me listen because I'm already turned on, because it ain't jamming.
Right.
Okay.
Even if you're talking about Jesus, don't mean it have to be weak music. It don't mean it have to be rinky-dink. And it don't mean that you got to listen to this because you're supposed to. No, I don't. I go buy what I like. I buy what I like. If it is garbage, I'm not buying it.
So then, what do you have to say about a song that you hear, but it's considered to be in the secular realm?
Right.
Go ahead and play one of the songs, Jackie. It's considered to be in the secular realm. Do you categorize it as secular? Because let's to be honest, secular means anything. It reminds us of anything that opposes God. So is it fair to say that these artists oppose God Do we call them secular? Do we call their music secular? Do we know secular from what's not secular? Are we able to categorize and say, well, wait a minute, this is not really secular. This can be inspirational, or this can fall in line with this. What do y'all think?
I say don't judge a song by the artist's character. You know, judge the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because when I look at R&B artists, my favorite artist, you know who he is. I ain't gonna speak to that, but
yeah, of course.
My favorite artist, I don't care what his personal life is. I pray for him and I hope he do the best. But I love his music.
Right.
And so when I look at people, I'm not trying to. When I'm looking at music, I'm not trying to sit there and figure out what their lifestyle's about. I'm here to buy music. I'm trying to like something that I hear, whether it's a Fred Hammond or a secular song.
Right.
I could take a Fred Hammond album and I love it.
Right.
And then I might buy one of his albums and say it's all right. You know.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. But when I'm going to purchase something, then you're gonna have to make me feel it, just like a secular artist gotta make me feel it.
Right.
You know? So you're not gonna get no cahoots just because you gospel.
So when you hear this, or you hear music that doesn't have any cussing and it's touching and it make you feel some kind of way, what do you say about music like this? Do you categorize it as secular music, or do you say this wouldn't fall as something that would oppose God? This is something that I think about marrying my wife, or being in love with her, or things like that. What do you think about that?
I like what you said.
What?
The song, you can tell they singing from the heart of what they've gone through.
Okay.
And if you got passion about something and you want to sing about it, to me it's no different than people writing it down in a journal, and they capture all this stuff that they're going through.
Right.
There's some things you shouldn't say out there, you know what I mean, if you're going to put it out there in the airways. But the truth about it is, that might be their filter. This is how I got through this. I sung it out, and you could tell the OJ singing out.
Right.
They be actually singing it out. But when I'm writing a song and the stuff is coming to me, everything starts coming back up on why I'm even writing these lyrics. What I'm going through, and I'm actually feeling it. At some point, I'm broke down.
Yeah.
I'm actually broke down because I'm like, wow. God is awesome.
He awesome, man. God is so good.
It's ministering to me first.
Yeah.
And so I know if it'll minister to me, somebody else is doing this.
Yeah. And I think about when I hear this song, or when I hear like Lenny Williams or somebody, I'm like, what was they going through to be writing this song? Because you can feel it. If Patty started singing and stuff, and she gets to singing, you're like, oh my goodness, Patty hit some beats. She hitting some notes and she on that beat. So I'm trying to understand, are they really going through something to make you feel that song like that? And do you think that they minister to music, being that it's a gift?
I do think. I mean, because all gifts come without repentance.
Okay.
So it's about how you use that gift. Now,
right. That's right.
Because that song, even though it's categorized as R&B, you can play that in the church. They talking about, don't you want to go to heaven step by step?
Right.
But it's R&B.
Right.
So, that's this big controversy we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so it's because you got the saints, especially the seasoned saints, that know they used to go to the juke joint and listen to that. Yeah. So they want to hear that at
church.
So
you remember some of them in the juke joint?
I mean, I wouldn't go to the juke joint. That ain't I ain't old enough.
Y'all never went to the club?
I went to the club.
Nobody ever hit
but
the club?
The juke joint and the club are two different things. You talking about all in the wall.
Well, I categorize them all the same because I'm thinking, well, what about the club? You hit the club before.
Yes.
And so what is your experience now that you've transitioned from that? Like, what are you as a man now? That I got my wife and my love, I got my baby.
The thing about it is, me and my wife, like when we travel, we will go find a local lounge or club because my wife likes to dance. She likes the Zydeco.
And is there something wrong with that?
No.
Even though you're a Christian, I like the Zydeco too, so I can't go Zydeco no more?
I'm with my wife. I'm not with no mistress. I'm not with no...
So it's who you do it with?
No. Because you could be single and go out with your homegirls in Zydeco. What's wrong with that?
Okay.
You're enjoying your life.
Is it who you do it with, or is it you know yourself as a person? You know who you are, and can't nobody define you but God.
It can be both, because that don't mean you say, oh, he's saying I can go dance at the club. No, because if you're on the floor dropping it like it's hot and twerking, and you're doing it with somebody you just met at the club, then
and then and I guess then you back in church on Sunday. Yeah, something going on. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right, so you gotta have that balance.
Yeah.
It's hard to contain what God has put in you. God created you to like music, to like all this stuff, and He didn't give you like say it wasn't no lyrics on the beat.
Yeah.
And this one was a gospel beat, this one was a secular beat, but you didn't know it.
Yeah.
And you could tell. If you listen to both of them and both of them you feel it, you like, man, this is just jamming. So God gave you music and it's in you to want to dance or do whatever already. So when the lyrics come on top of it and the content gets, perverted or disrupted, that actually is
Hello,
where
Ramona. How y'all doing?
that
Thank y'all
actually
for
to me
coming.
is where the issue comes in.
Right.
Because a beat is a beat to me.
Thank you all for
Music
coming.
is music to me. Now if you want, and it's also, I feel like you ought to be able to sing a love song, and you can sing a love song, listen to it, and it ain't got to be uplifting, it ain't got to be gospel, but it could be something like, man, I'm gonna make, this remind me of my relationship, this takes me back, blase.
Right.
But at the same time, you can be in the church, and the church don't have to be so cold and so hard-hearted. I think you're not gonna pull people in the church if you're not. First of all, if a secular artist asked me to write a song for him, right?
Right.
First of all, if he asked me to write a song, that's already a plus. Because now you got an open witness to him. Not only that, they must have saw something in your gospel music that make them even want to call you to write a song.
Right.
So are you saying that God could even cross people
Definitely.
to save people?
Yes.
And are you saying that they don't actually have to be in a building to be saved?
No.
So you saying that God can also use music to save people?
Oh,
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And you're ministers of music and you have the gifts, but are you saying that, are you thinking that you should have never done this kind of music, or you should have just strictly done gospel? Do you feel any guilt with that? That, okay, well, I don't do this music. I should have only done gospel. Do you feel any kind of guilt with that, or do you feel okay? How do you feel?
I don't feel any guilt. One, because like you said, God gave me the gift. So I don't use the gift. And this was a principle I lived by. When I first started producing, I was working with a company that sent me all kind of places, LA, New York, Miami. But I had one requirement, that I be back home Sunday to play at my church.
Okay.
Because I said I refuse to use a gift that God gave me to make money in the secular world and not come back and at least give it back to him. So
Okay.
I had a streak of 6 years in a row. I didn't miss no Sunday.
Okay.
And I'm talking about I was catching red-eye flights, getting home from LA at 5 in the morning, running to the house, showering, going straight to church, just because that was my, and I said, God, as long as you keep blessing me with this gift, I will never miss church, and I'm not going to be the person that don't give my gift back to you, because you gave me this gift.
Right.
So I don't feel guilty.
Okay.
I don't feel like
Amen.
I owe, a certain thing to gospel artists. I have a friend who has a studio and all he does is gospel.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be funny, but he struggles. He struggles, and nobody knows who I'm talking about. So,
Wow.
But it's like he always says, "Well, man, they didn't have a budget, or they didn't have this, or they didn't show up. They could no call, no show, no."
Right.
And I keep going back. I don't have those problems with the second. I have rappers that call me to make sure I'm at the studio. I'm gonna be on time. I got the money. I'm doing so. I have no guilt.
And what about music with sex in it? I've listened to music like that in my youth. In my youth, so
produce.
And how, do you feel guilty about it? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it? Like being that you're here, or do you feel like God is judging you and saying, you know what, you shouldn't be listening to music with sex in it?
I feel like when me and my wife go on a date and we driving on the beach, I'm not playing Kirk Franklin. We driving with the top down. I'm not playing Donnie McClurkin. I'm gonna play some R&B.
But you with your wife.
I'm with my wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that also goes back to the who you with. And
Okay.
And that's not just to say you got to be married to do that. It's people who want to clean their house to some R&B.
And sometimes you might want to get in a certain mood.
Exactly.
Okay, this is for adults. Right. A certain mood.
Exactly.
Where you with your spouse or with your lady or whatever, and you like, I want to set the mood, but can you set the mood?
Kurt ain't getting me in the mood.
So, and we love Kirk Franklin,
love him.
But you're not going to be in your house.
Right.
Singing,
No. So I have.
Can I get a witness?
What tripped me out is those believers who say they don't. I think they do, because you could go to church and say one thing, but if you in that setting, you ain't doing all that either.
So you think some people hiding. They say they listen to only this, and then we have some people that go at home and they listening to BB.
They got to.
That's what I like
King
about.
and-
That's what I like about me and his relationship. We real. When we go into church, we like this. When we outside of church, we like this.
Okay.
And if I was, I don't produce like David Forrest, make beats, but I write and all that. If somebody asked me to make a beat,
Okay.
and they gonna put some crap on it, I don't know what they gonna put on it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know what they gonna
Thank
put
you
on
for
it.
joining, guys.
So if I sell it to them, it's your responsibility. It's that those lyrics ain't gonna be tied to me because I sold them a beat. If they wouldn't put all that stuff on there, that's on you. That's your mind.
That's a
you
good
know.
point. That's a
But
good point.
if you a business, like
Good
say a
point.
studio, you're not gonna say, "Hey, only Christians can come in here and record."
Not mine.
You need
Some people do.
that's your living.
So wait a
you know?
minute. When we at the store,
your
so
way
then
of
you
living.
put me in this. Okay, so if I'm at the store and I'm behind the counter, but I'm the owner, am I to serve only Christians?
No.
So then you're saying the same thing in that respect. You're
Yeah.
saying, no, this can't be, it's not, this is why I make my money. I
Yeah.
do this for all. And we in the world, we're not
And,
of it,
and to piggyback
right?
off of what he said, me as a businessman, if she came and said, "Hey, I need 2 tracks. I don't know what kind of album you're doing, but she likes 2 tracks. She buys them. I don't record them. I don't do nothing, but the song come out and it's sex laid. It's
Okay.
us all on it. And then people come to me, well, you produced it. Well, the money she paid me, I gave back to the church. I
Right.
paid my tithe and offering, and it's
Amen.
taking care of my kids and my wife. So
Amen.
Right.
what's the problem?
And so if you listening to music, it's something that don't agree with the pastor and the pastor walk in, what y'all do? So if you listen to Let's Get It On, do y'all turn it off because the pastor here? Or
I
do
mean,
y'all
where am I listening
keep
to
playing?
that though? Am I
But I'm
sitting in
saying,
church?
let's say you in the car. Let's say you in the car. And the pastor walk up. I'm just saying, because it just puts you
Oh, I
in.
wouldn't change
Do
it.
you hide
If
it
you
or
come
do
in
you?
my domain, hey.
I wouldn't change.
Now in his presence, if I was in,
Because he's a man of God, would we show respect and say, well, let me, I mean,
Well, that's
I
what
would
that's
do
what
it.
they the
I would
old,
like-
the
I
old
would
school
turn
say
it
you
down.
can't even get on holy ground with that.
I would like for a
You can't
pastor
even
to say,
drive
man,
up
So, but-
I would love for a pastor to say, turn that up. I used to love that. Be
But
real,
I've heard
you
some
know,
pastors
even if you
say,
don't listen
I
to
remember
them,
back in the day when I used to,
Yeah,
blah, blah,
right.
blah, 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 blah,
Right.
and they talk about they get down or they used to do this, and you're like, what you used to do? You don't even look like you used to do none of that. So I'm just saying, so if he did walk up, you would show respect or you would just keep it going or...
It
Yeah, I
depends.
guess a yes or a no.
If you walking up to my car and I'm jamming what I'm jamming, I'm gonna keep jamming it.
But it's the pastor, no?
He probably jamming it in his office.
And then if he start jamming with y'all,
Then with that, he's I love my pastor more
oh my God.
because you human.
Yeah.
You human.
You human. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we just all have
It
our
depends on
walls.
what's playing too. If it's
Yeah.
something graphic, I'm
Yeah, I
gonna turn
mean-
it down.
Right,
You gotta
right.
have
'Cause
respect. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking about
Well,
the cussing.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
want to
You
have
said
it
let's
playing.
get it on. So
Well, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. If you heard something like that, would you turn it down? I'm talking about songs from back in the day. Would you say, you know what, this is the pastor. I'm turning this down, or would you continue to let it play?
if I'm at church, yeah, I wouldn't roll up on church with that playing first of all.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay.
That's just me. I don't.
So it's just a respect ground.
Yes,
respect
yes.
ground.
Yeah, my grandfather instilled that in me, and I learned the hard
That's just
way.
good upbringing.
No, that's driving up to his church,
Okay.
jamming some rap music and getting hit upside the head.
Oh my! Have y'all had people put y'all down or make y'all feel like, well, you ain't what you doing is nothing,
I have.
and you gonna go to hell for it, and you ain't gonna never get to heaven because you doing this trash or said some things that didn't agree with you as an artist.
I've been in the church to where when I started singing, solos in the church, and people loved it, but some of the ministers of music be like, "You do too much ad-lib." I come out of an R&B vibe, so I might be, so
all that kind of stuff.
they were used to churches are too structured. We're gonna do 2 selections. We're gonna do a R&B.
Why you like
he gonna
your
get up
voice
and
like
preach.
that, though?
He gonna do this, and that. So I'm like,
You gotta lighten your voice
I
like
mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Sorry.
It's okay.
They're too structured, and that's why I love churches where you go and the Holy Spirit just flows,
Yeah.
because they don't care if music runs over and then the preaching don't happen, or they don't care if it's more preaching than the music. They just letting the Holy Spirit lead.
So they just allow it to
and they not so structured to where they be like, well, look, church music has to do this. We have to do this. We have to have an offering at this time. We got to do this, and that. And so everybody's in there in format. It's like, you got to jump out of that comfort zone and just be free. To feel like, hey, what if we change this up? Does it have to be like this? Do we have to do
You
this?
said the key word, freedom.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be free.
So many churches have what you have, the praise and worship this long, this long, this long, this long, this, and you know that's because they having 10 services. On
If I saw a kid coming out of the secular world and he's singing R&B and he in the church singing, he's doing all this ad lib, I'm gonna say, man, at least he at the church.
Yeah.
He could be somewhere else instead of finding every little thing wrong with him just because you don't do it this way. You know, and
everybody have their own way of worship.
Exactly.
You know, if we worshiping unto Jesus Christ, it shouldn't. I mean, I'm not saying it shouldn't matter how we worship, but people have their own way of worship, so we can't judge them or pass judgment.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you guys have worked with celebrities. You guys basically kind of you are celebrities. Am I right? I don't want to just put you out like that.
I might have a little.
Okay, so you
Maybe
are
you
celebrities.
might be a little bit.
I want to make sure I didn't put y'all out there because sometimes people want to keep that under wraps. You have families and you have lives and you have wives and you have, you know, friends. So when you go home, are you living a life that's actually on the music? So you have some music that be playing while I be in the streets and I'm doing this, but are you living that life? Or are you living a family life?
And that goes back to what I first said. Like, my house is home. I don't have a keyboard. I have nothing there. When I come home.
So home is home.
Home is home. I come home and play with my kids.
People wouldn't know that at church.
No, of course not, because they don't follow me home, and you know, so it has to be it goes back to balance. You know, I can't. Now you said some of the lyrics. Yes, there's certain lyrics like we talked about the Luther and all that. Yeah. You know, but it's rare that I come home just from a gospel session singing the song and coming through the door or getting excited to tell my wife, hey, I produced this da 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 for so and so, because she knows I do get more excited about the seculars. It's just a different sound. And so with me. Like I said, I love the gospel. I'm born and raised church, been in church all my life, but it's just a different connection I have with the secular world, and I don't think I should get put down for it or I'm burning him. My grandfather, true story. My grandfather is fire, hell, and brimstone. He's missionary Baptist church, so you can't walk across the altar. You gotta cover. Can't wear no pants. Yeah. Can't do. He came to my studio and recorded a song. And he gave, once I got his clearance,
that was it.
It was it.
Yeah, because he's so straight by the book.
He put you sneeze and don't cover your mouth. You going to hell.
You just need studio time.
Yeah. so you know, I don't think, you know, because like we talked about, you Zydeco with your friends. Yeah. So you go to Mardi Gras to hang out with your family.
My favorite pastime is my kids. Okay. I love putting it to my son and my daughter. I love the fact that they watch me do this, you know, and they actually, you know, my son, he'll get up singing, through you, I can do
Go ahead, hit your note. You're doing it right.
I can do all things, because it's you who gives me strength, and nothing is impossible. But, you know, he'll just he'll go to just hitting it.
All right.
And he, like I say, he's 4 years old, and he can confess. He every night he's like, Dad, let's do our confessions. He confesses the scriptures. My daughter comes in with it, you know. But they're actually amazed. When I get in the car, they want to hear my music. Right. Put on this, or he'll want to hear that song, you know. And when I put on R&B songs, they feel it too. But you could tell that their spirit is gravitating to what I trained them in. Right. You know. Right. And so, but I put on a little R&B too, because I want them to know, hey, there's a time for everything. You know. Right. I don't want to be square heads and get out there and just be these holy rollers.
So, what if your children listening to this kind of music in their house, in your house? Would you let them continue to listen to it, or would you let somebody introduce it to them outside? It's kind of like you want to tell them about life in their house instead of letting the devil or somebody teach them not the right way. What y'all think about that?
Well,
because I teach my children in my house. I talk to them. I'm not going to send them out and let the world teach them.
Well, I have teenagers. I have 3 teenage girls, and they listen to all the latest. But they know on Sunday, y'all can't play that.
Okay.
They know they got to find some kind of gospel to play on Sunday. You're not going to play it on speaker in my house. Okay. If you want to listen to it in your room with your headphones, you're not going to do it. Because I got sons, too, that's little, and they listen to that. And every now and then, they don't put the clean versions on. And so we have problems with that. Yeah. But as long as it don't contaminate, I don't think it contaminates them, because I give them a balance. Yeah. They're going to listen to church. They're going to go to church. So they're not going to be just hellions 24/7.
Hellions. Oh, my Lord. I like that word.
So you got to have that balance. And they know in my car, when they get in my car, it's on 89.3, or it's going to be on Pandora, a gospel channel.
Yeah.
That's just how they know to ride. And they're going to turn their phones out and they're just going to ride. And they end up, by the time we get to where we're going, they singing every song.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So I make sure, and I do it on purpose with me. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know because they just hop in the car singing what comes on the radio.
Wow.
But as soon as they get out, of course, they can go to their room and listen to whatever. But for that 20, 30 minutes, I poured into them something spiritual, spiritual music. So
my kids know not to listen to certain things.
Okay.
Like my daughter, she loves a tablet. Both of them are tablet junkies.
Okay.
So they get on this their tablet and they pull up the kids songs of the stuff that's out there now. And they got version to them to where it's not, they got the choruses, but it's not all this filth in it, right?
Right.
And when they hear something that they know I'm looked down on, they change it because they know that they're not supposed to be on that. And I kind of guard that. Now I got a fix to be 19-year-old, and he's just like me when it comes to music. He loves R&B.
Okay.
Now he doesn't really care for a lot of filth type songs, but he loves some of the older R&B. The jagged edges and the stuff that he just got that in him, and it's almost like he's in our frame of time, back in the day. But he's a young kid,
too.
but he can still feel some of the music now. But man, when I play him, I say, listen to this, man. Oh, that's Jam. Who is that? I said, that's 112. Oh, yeah. I like that. What is that? I said, yeah, that's what I used to listen to, man.
Yeah, back in the day, like 15, 20 years ago.
But what I do is, me, myself, I'm going to be honest, I don't listen to a lot of music like I used to. I used to love to listen to it, especially like right now when I'm in the process of writing this album and this project. I don't want anything to block what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Now, sometimes I just break away from it. Like if you're a studio brat like him, sometimes you mix and you got to get up and go outside. Just
give your brain
So
a
sometimes
break.
I'll take a break, go chill, listen to some R&B. But I don't want anything to come across sounding like this vision.
Okay.
I don't want to be detoured. So I just kind of take a break from it. And then nowadays, man, kids will consume your time.
Yeah.
That's like work, kids, sleep.
Yeah.
So if I'm listening to CD, it's probably on the way to the work and back. And I'm still a CD person. I don't hardly listen to the radio at all. Every now and then I tune into the radio, and I'm not finna buy none of this rap. It just depends on what it is. I'm very particular about rap. Okay. You have to make me feel it, and I have to love it. I like a lot of artists out there, like Drake.
Yeah.
And I love our old school Southern rap, like the.
And you're a gospel artist.
Yes.
And you love Drake.
Yeah, I like Drake. I like Drake.
J. Cole.
Okay.
Yeah, J. Cole too, but August Alsina, killing it.
Well, let me
I like some of Chris Brown stuff. All of them got stuff that you can like.
Yeah.
Now,
Right,
but you know
right.
what? Now, content. I already know what that content is. I lived a life of issues like that with sex and all, and women and all. I know what that feels like.
But the Lord brought you through.
Yeah, the Lord brought you through. But being in that atmosphere, I know not to judge them because I know what it feels like to have all these people rushing at you, all these different females. So I know what the temptation is. So I want this music to let them see, hey, I'm doing this as a gospel artist. You can do it too.
And the Lord brought you.
Yeah, and the
Lord
brought me.
kept you.
Hey, shot.
Right? The Lord kept you. So let me ask this last question before we leave out, guys. This very last question is all secular music secular music?
No, I don't believe
Do you think that all secular music, what is categorized as secular music, that is actually secular?
No.
This is the last question because I want to know when we listen to the
Give the
music.
definition on secular.
Okay, secular is anything that opposes God.
Right.
Sacred reminds us of God, meaning heavenly and good. Secular is anything that opposes God. So it's all music, secular music, actually secular music. Do it all oppose God?
No.
No. And so you wouldn't stop listening to it, and you don't care what the church, what the God,
They shouldn't label those people like that either no more,
No.
So we shouldn't label them as secular people either.
Yeah, because like you said, they may
We
have
can't
a relationship.
categorize these
They
people.
may have a some type of relationship with God. It may not be as mature as some other people, but you never know what they feel. You never know what they're going through.
Right.
When I listen to some of these secular songs and hear some of the heartfelt stuff in it, I know for a fact, and one of them I'm talking about, I know for a fact somewhere they're in tune with God at some point.
Yeah.
They may have didn't stay with it, or they may be struggling with it, fighting back and forth. But I know for a fact I felt an anointing on some of these records, and they wasn't gospel records.
Right.
And if they were singing about God in an inspirational
Like
way,
Johnny
in an inspirational way, man, it's like, dude, you sold me. I got Christian and all, you sold me.
Right.
As an art, and another thing, the church got to understand, artists are different. We that David lineage, we are totally different.
David, that's right.
I'm serious. We can look at something totally different than the way you look at it. If you ever read the book by, I think it's Rory Nolan, it's called The Heart of the Artist. And he says something in there, I forget what it is, but he's like, we think deep, we reach way back, and people that look at artists and view secular artists, they don't understand that this has to come out.
Yeah.
Davion got to make that beat. I got to write this. It's in me.
Because it's the gift that God gave you. It's like
you a minister, you
gotta come out. It gotta come out. You can't hold it.
Right.
It's a gift. So at the end of the day, guys, I just want to say thank you to each of you for coming out and being with me and talking about secular music and what's secular and what's sacred. I want everybody to know out there, again, let me reset and say, I'm Dr. Katrina Chevalier Cormier. You can call me Dr. K. This is Rodney J. with
Sound My Music Group and Refresh Publishing Music.
Go ahead and hit the note. Hit the note for the people. Go ahead. Come on, give us something. You got to give us something so we can close out. Something your latest material so people can hear.
My latest material? You were right there in the midst of the storm. You held my hand, sheltered me from harm. You were by my side to comfort me. Looked beyond my faults and saw my needs. You guided my steps like a baby toddler, shaped and molded me like clay you're the potter.
Thank you,
I'll
Jesus.
forever praise you,
Thank you,
there's
Lord.
no one greater.
Yes, God.
That's why I lift my hands and say, thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. All right, guys. Let me just give a shout out to Dr. Princess Boomy Hancock. Thank you, Dr. Princess Hancock, for allowing us to be on here today. We love you so much. Please join World Changer Sister Tribe on Facebook. Again, you can also look them up on Facebook. Can they find you guys?
Davion Bots World, BOTTZWORLD.
And
Rodney J. Refresh, Facebook. Tangy, what other sites you got?
Twitter, everything.
Yeah, y'all, my sister that said Tangy. We got Instagram as well. Rodney J. Refresh. Instagram. All of us the same, right?
And my name is Dr. Katrina Chevalier Cormier. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank y'all so much. I bless you guys and I love you. Thank you to all my sisters and world changers, Ramona, Tiffany, Tanika, and Stephanie. Thank y'all so much. Y'all going to be looking forward to seeing some awesome guests coming on. We really love you. Thank you again. Please stop by, like I said, World Changer Sister Tribe and join WCST. There are so many great things going on. Please download Friends to an Angel. The song is only $4.99 and it helps a lot of children in Nigeria. God, we love you guys so much. God bless you. And remember, play the song, Jackie. No matter what, no matter where you are in life, no matter who you are, the Lord loves you. Jesus Christ loves you. And any walk you in, you could be in the walk where you in prostitution. I don't care where you at. I don't care if you in the club. I don't care where you are. You want to say something?
No, you
where
having
you
me
are,
up.
where you are, no matter where you are,
go on in.
God is there with you, in you. Okay, and remember to always introduce your children, your family, people. Let them all know that you are a believer. They can see it in the way you carry yourself. And even if not, even if you're going through something in your life, even if you're having a hard time, just know that Jesus Christ is the answer. I love you so much. Look for us again next week on Thursday at 5 p.m. CST. This is the table where we take the church to the table. We don't cut it up here, guys. We get straight to the point. We talk about things and we let everybody know the real here. We don't do exactly. I mean, the table is significant in the home.
Yes, it is.
You know, when you have to pay your bills and when you have things going on, you bring it to the table. And so we bringing it here because a lot of people in the church don't want to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it.
Let your kids tune into this.
Let your kids tune into this, guys. Let everybody tune in. Let them hear it. Go ahead and share it. We love you. Thank you so much. God bless you. And see you. Bye-bye.
Inside, y'all. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.